Hi, it's Mr. Townsend here. In this video, I'm going to give a demonstration on how to carry out the silver mirror test. In particular, I'm going to make up some Tolens reagent and then I'm going to add some Tolens reagent to a aldehyde to get a positive reaction, a silver mirror. Right, in this video we're going to look how to take this glass bottle of Coca-Cola and turn it into this silver bottle of Coca-Cola. So we're going to use Tolens reagent and carry out the silver mirror test in order to produce this fantastic silver bottle you can have all for your own by following these instructions. Number one, take the bottle of Coke and drink it. Next step, take the empty bottle of Coca-Cola and rinse it with distilled water. So I've found that you need to have very clean glass in order to make a good silver mirror when you add Tolens reagent. But a Coke bottle that's just had Coke in it and nothing else, and just rinsed with distilled water, or very clean water, produces a very clean surface. So there we go. We now have a clean bottle, and we'll just go through making the Tolens reagent. Now, Tolens reagent is a special mixture of chemicals that is used by chemists to identify the presence of aldehydes. So what we need here, we need three things to make a Tolens reagent. First thing is some silver nitrate. Here I've got 0.1 molar silver nitrate, some sodium hydroxide, and I've got 2 molar sodium hydroxide here, and ammonium hydroxide. So this is 28 to 30 molar ammonium hydroxide. It's ammonia dissolved in water. It's the highest concentration you can get. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to water this silver nitrate down a bit because I don't need it as concentrated. So I'm going to put close to 200 mils of distilled water into this bottle. I'm now going to add the silver nitrate. Here we go. So I'm going to make this at least over 350 because my Coke bottle, of course, has 330 millilitres. Now this is a wee bit cloudy here. It means the water I've just put in has had a wee bit of chlorine. So it isn't perfectly distilled water, but this will still work fine. So what I'm going to do now is add the sodium hydroxide. Now when I add the sodium hydroxide, what's going to happen is we're going to get a brown precipitate. Okay, so at the moment we've got silver ions in here. When we add the hydroxide, we're going to get some silver hydroxide, which is a brown precipitate. So here we go. Cool. And that's what we want. So we've added the sodium hydroxide solution, 2 molar, and made the brown precipitate. I'm just going to give it a shake. So this is making Tolens reagent. Remember, we're going to use this and we're going to react it with an aldehyde. And if the aldehyde is present, if it is an aldehyde, it will produce this silver mirror. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and this is the part where you have to be very particular and careful. So I've just taken a wee bit of this ammonium hydroxide. This is very, very strong. It's best to do this in a fume cupboard. If you do open the lid, put it back on very quickly because the fumes can be overwhelming. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a drop at a time. And what's going to happen is the ammonia is going to form a complex with the silver ions, and the silver ions will become soluble in water. They'll no longer be attached to the hydroxide, and we should get a clear solution. You can see it's starting to go clear already. So I might need to add more than 1 parts per pipette of ammonia. So I'm going to take a bit more ammonia. You can see it's getting a wee bit. I'm going to put that lid back on because it is quite intense to smell here. So this is like a very strong ammonia bleach cleaner. Okay. And maybe a couple more drops. You can see that it is getting clear now. Very much clear. Just a few floaties left in there. Let's add 1 more drop. Put the lid on, give it a shake, see what happens. Okay, clear solution. Fantastic. So I've now made Tolens reagent. Now I'm going to add an aldehyde to this Tolens reagent, and the aldehyde is going to make the Tolens reagent produce a silver mirror test. And remember, this is a positive test. We use this to positively determine that we have an aldehyde, because Tolens reagent will only oxidize an aldehyde, it will not oxidize an alcohol. So, how I'm going to make this work in a Coke bottle is I'm going to use the aldehyde glucose. Glucose is an aldehyde group. I've got a 10% glucose solution here. I'm going to pour some into this bottle. Here we go, boom, all done. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my Tolens reagent, and I'm going to fill it right up to the top in the bottle. So I want a nice, clean deposit of silver on the glass. So I'm going to put Tolens reagent, fill it up. Oh, a wee bit of spillage there that I'll have to clean up later. So right up to the top. There we go, because I want all of my bottle to be silver. I'm going to put the cap back on the Coke. Oh, make sure I've threaded that correctly. Yes, I have. And I'm just going to invert it. Make sure I mix the glucose with the Tolens reagent. Now, this is just starting to change its colour a wee bit now, but to make this reaction happen more quickly, I've now taken a big ice cream container full of reasonably hot water, about 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to place this in here. And we're going to leave it for about 3 or 4 minutes. So, and we'll see what happens to it. Get the silver deposited on the glass. So I've left it at the moment for about 3 minutes. So I'm going to leave it for another 3 minutes, and we'll have another look and see where it's at with the reaction, the silver mirror test for aldehydes. Okay, it's been about another 3 minutes. Here is our Coca-Cola bottle now. We can see it is very shiny. It's got a lovely silver mirror. Wee bit on the bottom, not so much. But I'm going to leave it for just a wee bit longer, and then we'll be finished and I'll show you the end product. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It's looking pretty good. This is going to go right up on the shelf in the living room. It's going to be one of my prized possessions. We've just watched a video where I went and carried out a silver mirror test to put a silver mirror on the inside of a Coke bottle. Now the first step that we did to make the silver mirror was to produce Tolens reagent. Now Tolens reagent we want to make up fresh. So what we do is we're going to take some silver ions in the form of silver nitrate, and we're going to add them to some hydroxide ions in the form of sodium hydroxide to produce this brown precipitate called silver hydroxide. Now remember, the concentration of the sodium hydroxide I used was 2 moles per litre, where the silver nitrate was 0.1 moles per litre. Remember, I also diluted it a bit before, so it can be a wee bit more dilute than that. That produces that brown precipitate. Then we've got to do another step after that. So what we want to do is we want to take the silver hydroxide and we want to complex the silver. What that means is we're going to add some ligands that are going to surround the silver and dissolve it back into solution again. So if we add concentration ammonia in the form of ammonia dissolved, 30 molar ammonia. Okay, we are going to add the ammonia around the silver ions and produce this complex ion. You'll notice this is a complex ion because there are square brackets around the outside. This complex ion is what Tolens reagent is really. This is what is going to react with our aldehyde. So the ammonia solution, remember, was about 28 to 30 molar. We add it drop-wise, you add it drop at a time, swirling until the brown precipitate just redissolves. Then you're ready to go. That's Tolens reagent. You can start the reaction. Okay, oxidation of an aldehyde. So we've got the Tolens reagent. Remember, it is this silver ammonia complex ion, and we're going to add it to an aldehyde. An aldehyde, remember, is a functional group with a carbon, double bond oxygen, and a hydrogen. It's always on the end of a molecule. And if we oxidize it, it turns into a carboxylic acid. Now, the special trick about the silver in this ammonia complex, this Tolens reagent, is it's only strong enough to oxidize an aldehyde. It will not oxidize an alcohol. So it can be used as a very specific test for aldehydes. So if you've got an unknown sample and you're not sure whether it's an aldehyde or if it's an alcohol, the aldehyde will react with Tolens reagent, but it won't with the alcohol. So we produce a carboxylic acid, and note here that the silver, which is in the form of Ag+, right? So it's an iron, it has an oxidation number of 1, is reduced to silver elemental form, a metal that has an oxidation number of 0. So the silver's been reduced as the aldehyde has been oxidized to carboxylic acid. Now this silver metal is what deposits on the inside of the glass and why we see the silver mirror. Okay, I hope that's explained the silver mirrors test and how we use Tolens reagent. Remember, if you like the video, look out for the rest of the videos I will post on how to do tests to identify organic compounds.